My sister entered my room without my permission and stole the money I had been saving for my children's Christmas gifts, so I punched her right in the face and got her arrested. Let's call my sister Sarah. Sarah lost her job about 4 months ago, got kicked out of her apartment about 2 months ago, and didn't have anywhere to go. Being her big sister, I offered her a place to stay while she figured things out. Being a single mother with no one to turn to, I sometimes felt sorry for her, so I figured I could help her with this rough patch. I even started helping with daycare fees for her son, who's 3, because I know how tough it can be to make ends meet. Things started okay, but I started noticing small red flags. First, Sarah's boyfriend, whom I'd only met 3 times, began coming over almost daily while I was at work. I didn't love it, but I thought they both needed support, so I let it slide. I let Sarah know that I didn't want him coming to my house every day, and he stopped coming for a while. Then one day, he just popped back up. It wasn't long before I noticed other strange things happening. At first, I thought I was tripping. For example, little stuff would be moved in my bedroom, or stuff would be missing in my bathroom. At first, I thought it was my daughters, but the stuff that was touched or missing, they either don't use or have their own. So without telling anyone, I put a camera in my room. I saw Sarah going into my room when I was at work. I confronted her and told her without letting her know about the camera in my room. I told her I knew she was going into my room, and if she did it again, she was out. She half-assed, apologized, and we moved on. When I got home yesterday, I noticed my closet door slightly opened. I knew something was off because I never left my closet door open. As I was looking through my closet, I noticed one of my handbags was missing. I had been saving about $2,500 for Christmas gifts for my kids in the handbag. It wasn't in an obvious spot either. You must dig under about 7 other handbags to get to that one. My heart was in my ass because, 1, my money was missing, and 2, that was the money for my kids' Christmas, and 3, my sister was nowhere to be found. I knew right then and there that Sarah had taken it. I immediately called Sarah, but she wouldn't answer. I checked security cameras in my room and saw Sarah thieving ass in my room going through my closet. About 5 minutes later, her boyfriend, let's call him Ryan, came into my room too. They had to have picked the lock because I ensured my room was locked before I went to work this morning. They spent 45 minutes in my room going through all my stuff, trying to put it back like it was. I was devastated. I let her move in with my rent and bills free. And is this how she repays me? About 2 hours after I got home, Sarah and Ryan returned. I confronted her immediately. At first, she lied and denied it, claiming I was mistaken or had misplaced the money, but I didn't back down. I told her I had the entire thing on camera, everything, including her and her boyfriend going through my things. She was caught red-handed. I told her she had to return the money by the end of the day, or I'd be pressing charges. She started freaking out saying I was being unreasonable. I wanted to put my hands on her, but I had too much to lose. She even tried to drag our dad and her mom into the situation, calling them to intervene on her behalf, but I wasn't having it. I told them both to stay out of it, that I was handling it my way, and that they had no right to defend her when she was clearly in the wrong. If they want to defend her, they can give me the $2,500 back. That shut them right on up. I also told them they didn't have the right to say anything to me about this because they were willing to tell her and their grandchild to sleep outside. After all, they were not ready to have a toddler around them right now. By 8 p.m., she still hadn't given me the money back, and I had no choice but to call the police. I filed the report and gave them the footage. When the police arrived, Sarah and Ryan had jumped into his car and left. They're both on the run now, and no one knows where they are. I'm sure she's trying to hide, but I have no idea if they'll even come back or if I'll get my money back. I'm still in shock. I've always tried to help her, and this is how she repays me. I can never trust her again, and I don't even know if I want her in my life anymore. It's one thing to make mistakes, but to steal from family when I've been helping you, it feels like a betrayal on a whole new level. So here I am, dealing with the aftermath, and I wonder if I should have handled this differently. I really wanted to hurt her, and the only reason I didn't was because of my daughters. Even though they are not with me, I still don't want to miss up there in my future. I got a call from one of my cousins who told me she was on my side. However, she also told me that my dad and his wife called her mom trying to talk junk about me, and my auntie shut them down. She told my dad that he and his wife created the Mr. My Sister is because they never said no and gave her anything and everything she wanted. I love my aunt for sticking up for me. Update. When I got off work this morning, I didn't feel like going upstairs to my room, so I laid on the couch. Around 10:30, I heard someone at my front door. When I opened the door, my sister looked stupid. When I realized who it was, I punched her right in the face. She tried to run, but I grabbed her and pulled her inside my house. She was alone. I asked her where my nephew was, and she told me that he was with her childhood best friend. I would call her Alex. I didn't believe her, so I made her call Alex so I could see, and he was. Thank God he is with Alex because Alex is an angel. I asked my sister where my money was, and she said go. I said I knew that, but where did it go? This idiot looked me in the eyes and told me that she and Ryan spent the money DoorDash going out to eat and Mary Jane. I just stood there and looked at her. She didn't say anything, and I know she thought I was going to punch her again because every time I moved, she would flinch. After what felt like hours of me staring at her, I called her a dumb bitch. I told her she needed to explain herself. What pisses me off is she wasn't even looking for the money. She was looking for my handgun. She told me that Ryan had convinced her to go to her old job and get revenge for firing her. I told her she was a dummy for going along with that play. I then asked her why she got fired because she told us her job had to lay off people due to the drop in business. It is a small business and a local family-owned grocery store. Well, she and 4 other employees decided that they didn't want the 15% employee discount they were getting and the $19.50 they were getting paid. They wanted free merchandise and free money for the registers. My jaw hit the floor. Her old employer told her if she paid back the money she took, he would press charges. I asked her how much she took, and it was about $690, but I think it was way more. Ryan didn't like her getting ripped off and devised his plan. She knew I had a handgun. She didn't know that I take it everywhere because I have my concealed carry license. While she is talking to me, I'm recording the whole time. She then tells me she got kicked out because she told her landlord that if he didn't let Ryan stay with her and not be on the lease, she would get a bunch of people to bet him up. The landlord filed a police report and had her evicted 10 days later. But what pissed me off is she told me the whole time she was on the run, she never once checked up on her son. She said Ryan didn't want him around, so she took him to Alex. At that point, I snapped. Everything from her stealing from me to her abandoning her son just came out. I have never yelled and cursed at anyone like that before. I let her have it. She started crying, but I couldn't care less. She tried to talk, but I told her to shut the fuck up because I was done with her poop. I told her she was a poor excuse for a human being and a mother. I told her that she should be ashamed of herself for what she did to me and how she is treating her son. I told her that I was going to help Alex get custody of her son because she didn't deserve him. She tried to talk, but I wasn't done. I also told her that she was going to jail, and Ryan is too. She started crying, but, again, I couldn't care less. I was yelling so loud. I think the neighbors heard me and called the police, which I was going to do anyway. So thank you to my neighbors. When I opened the door, it seemed like the police were there. They asked me if everybody and everything was okay because they could hear me from the street, and my neighbors were concerned. I told them no and explained everything that was going on. Sarah was just sitting there like a deer in headlights, trying to play the victim. She told the police that I gave her the money. I wanted to jump on her right then and there. I told the police that the previous officers had the footage of her and Ryan going through my stuff. One of the officers ran her name, saw she had a warrant for her arrest, and put her in handcuffs. They took Sarah outside and searched her. The police pulled some money out of her pocket, and she told them to give it to me. This stupid bitch wanted them to give me $24.76, yes. I counted it. I told them to keep it because she is going to need it. The police asked her how she got there, and Sarah said Ryan had dropped her off. They asked her where Ryan was, and she said, around the corner waiting on her. When one of the officers went to check, the dummy was still sleeping. So he went to jail also. I called my dad and told him what was going on, and to my surprise, he must have had a change of heart. He told me after my aunt read him the right act, He took everything in and realized we were right. He told me that she would have to pay for what she did. I also told him about my nephew, but he knew that he was with Alex and glad he was with her. I told him about helping Alex get custody of my nephew, and he told me to do what I had to do. I want Alex to get custody because she is great with my nephew. She loves him, and he loves her. He is also happier when he is with Alex. My nephew doesn't leave Alex's side even when she visits Sarah. She also takes my nephew with no problems if anything ever happens to my sister. Sarah's mom was pissed at me because I would not drop the charges, and I gave the police the recording of her telling me the plan she had because it added more charges. I told her that if she had been a good mother and had raised Sarah right, we would have been going through this. She called me a bitch and hung up. I blocked her. She can deal with Sarah and pay for lawyers. I will ensure I'm at every court date for Sarah and Ryan, if possible.